Welcome back, boxing fans. Sorry about my bed head. Obviously, we just finished what was a boring fight, so I think my timing is perfect for going live. Just before Andy Cruz in his third professional fight, and of course, Berlanga is back. Berlanga is trying to prove that he is a player at 168 and is in contention for the big money fights against guys like Munguia, Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, and others. Andy Cruz, of course, I just read a funny tweet by Old Head who's criticizing Eddie Hearn for basically attaching Cruz to Keyshawn Davis. But that's only natural, right? Why wouldn't you be connecting these two fighters together, considering they've met so many times in the amateurs and Andy Cruz has consistently had the upper hand on Keyshawn Davis? So, of course, people are going to be talking about this fight and the potential matchup in the pros between these two fighters. So, as far as that's concerned, it only makes sense. And I can't see why people are acting as if it doesn't, right? We will see what Andy Cruz has to do today. Obviously, people are looking for an impressive performance. He's fighting probably not the best opponent he's been in with so far in his short career, but we know he's very advanced. He is similar to a Lomachenko and a Rigo coming out of the amateurs, a guy with multiple gold medals and obviously a guy who can compete with anybody really at 135 pounds. The difference is the style. Obviously, you spent so many years as a Cuban with that Cuban style. It doesn't necessarily translate very well to the pros. And that's the only problem. Right now, they say Andy Cruz is 24. Andy Cruz is not 24. 5'9" with 100, doesn't list his length. But obviously 2-0, 1 KO. Hopefully today he can make an impressive performance and move to 3-0 with 2 KOs. Let's cross our fingers. Try saying that 10 times. Brian Zamarita.
What would your game plan be? Would you fight on the back foot or would you go right at it? I would start off boxing and then get the timing, get the speed, and then start aggressively pushing the fight towards them, because this is a 10-round fight. Normally, when you have prospects, they want to start off with 4, 6, 8 rounders, but not Andy Cruz. It's a 10-round fight. So start off slow, there's Alarica, and pick up the pace and show your experience.
And now entering the arena, the defending champion, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist, de Americanis, Matanzas, Cuba, Andy Cruz.
Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz is something special. Let's just see if he can go from 29 years of age and translate into more of a professional style of boxing. Something more entertaining and not so Cuban. We don't need a Arislandi Lara. We need more of a Gamboa. Welcome in, my man. Look at Cruz. He's got the costume. He's got the dance. Now let's see if he can perform in the ring tonight. And that's an interesting thing to bring up, right? The fact that he is in camp and in the gym with Boots Ennis, who also is a very technically skilled fighter, but sits down on his punches, has great knockout power, and is an entertaining fighter. If he's able to learn something from Boots' father and translate that to his career, this could be a great pickup for Matchroom and DAZN. And hopefully somewhere down the line, the possibility of a Cruz-Keyshawn Davis fight happens. I saw Keyshawn talking about, come on, man, you want me to fight some dude that's only had like 2 fights? Come on. we understand that 2 fights is not reminiscent of who Andy Cruz really is. And we will see tonight. I don't expect this guy to do anything against Andy Cruz, not land anything significant, not be in the fight at all. Oh, look who's in his corner, Morel. Hey, there you go. If he can be like Morel, sorry, there's the perfect example of a Cuban with a pro style, David Morel. David Morel, I think he's my number one 168-pound fighter. If Berlanga wants to prove himself, take fucking this guy on next. Right? That's the fight. David Morel versus Berlanga. Berlanga is going to get smoked. Massimo. He's Italian. We are back once again for a fight night from Taiwan. I'm happy when fights are on DAZN because now I can watch it here on the big screen. It's good, as opposed to trying to find a stream like yesterday from the great fight card from Japan from ESPN Plus. That was a great card. If you haven't seen it, go check out the fights. Obviously, Junto Nakatani looked like a monster yesterday, easily dispatching Santiago. Inui, Takumi the Ghost Inui, that's the new name I'm giving him. Hopefully he picks that up because that's perfect. If your brother is the monster, you're the ghost. You're here, you're not here. We can see you, we can't see you. He ended up getting a great body shot knockout, and he's not a power puncher like his brother. So that was a decisive victory for him as well. And of course, Kosi Tanaka became a 4-weight world champion last night. So obviously that's legacy and historic right there. But here we go. Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz got quite the corner. Boots' dad, David Morel. David's a big boy wearing that Bulls jacket. Isn't David living in Minnesota? Why is he wearing like a Bulls jacket? Shouldn't he be wearing a fucking Timberwolves jacket? Hey, 78, you better fucking call that up and fucking kick some dust. Your PBC boys wearing fucking the Bulls jacket, not Timberwolves. And Timberwolves are one of the best teams in the Western Conference this year. Here we go. So, what do you guys think? Will this fight be an early stoppage for Cruz, making a statement a la Boots Ennis, or will he revert to his amateur pedigree and win a unanimous decision victory? I'm hoping for the knockout exciting victory because I would love to see the hype between him and Keyshawn Davis build up. That would only be good for boxing. And I'm a Keyshawn fan, so I would love to see him win that fight. Get revenge. And we're off. Here we go. All these giggling girls out front of my house. I should open my door. Be more in the house. You can see Cruz is just so confident in the ring, right? Like the kid grew up there. There's nothing I think in the ring that can shake up a guy like him. So confident, so composed. Right now, he's just putting pressure on the guy, but not even by throwing punches, just by cutting off the angles. For people that love slick boxers, they should be big fans of Andy Cruz. Because if you're talking about Devin Haney's and Shakur Stevenson's, you definitely got to put Cruz right in that group of fighters. Hit and not get hit. Make them miss, make them pay. Ah, there you go. Zamparia. picking his spots. Oh, nice right hand from Cruz. It was funny, the guy that was being critical of Eddie Hearn promoting Andy Cruz, right? Isn't that ultimately what promoters are supposed to do? Talk up their fighters, right? Hype them up. We see Ellaby do that with Tank Davis. We see obviously Aram do that with Lomachenko. I mean, that's the job of a promoter, to promote. So Eddie Hearn promoting and building up Cruz, yeah, that's what you do. You hype up your fighter. And that's an old age guy, like an old head, right? So I thought it was funny because he knows Don King, and Don King was famous for his hype of his fighters, and the things he said were outlandish and ridiculous. So it's like, come on, Eddie Hearn is not even comparable to Don King in hyping up a fighter. That was an easy round for Andy Cruz. Obviously, he's not pushing; he's taking his time, establishing the jab, landed a couple right hands, putting his jab to the body as well to try to bring down the guard. He's just trying to set him up for something bigger down the road. Mars, what's up, my man? Let's go, Andy. Salute, Sean. Damon, you shouldn't be supporting Andy because he ain't American. Right? Let's be consistent. See, I always think it's funny for these guys that only support Black American fighters, yet somehow they feel like they have to support Cubans. Cubans are not Black American fighters. They're closer to Russians than they are fucking Americans. Nice pull counter from Cruz. Round 2, and we're off. So this is a 10-rounder. I think so far every fight that Cruz has been in has been a 10-rounder, which shows you the levels, right? Guys hyping up a guy like Abdullah Mason, don't get me wrong, great looking kid, skills. I mean, as far as levels, I think he's going to go higher than Andy Cruz down the road, but obviously he's far younger, like 8 years younger than Andy Cruz. But, you know, he's still fighting 8-rounders, right? He's fought 6-rounders and he just moved into 8-rounders. So that kid is really, really young and raw. And that gives you an indication of what kind of opponents he's fighting. Good body work from the Mexican guy. You can see he's a veteran. He's not being too reckless. But at the same time, his style is too easy, I think, for a guy like Cruz to just pick and poke away at. Another nice right to the body, good left to the head. Boom, there you go. Nice change of angles, landed the big right hand. I wonder how much attention and praise Boots Ennis' dad is going to start getting when Andy Cruz is really getting up there to world title contention. When you got Boots and Andy Cruz as 2 fighters in your stable, potentially 2 pound-for-pound fighters. This is like painting by numbers for Andy Cruz. Easy work. I like that shot there. sort of like the Pacquiao left hand when you drop your head and you throw it so your head's off the angle, but it's a real straight down the pipe shot. He does that, but from the opposite angle, from the right hand. You don't see many conventional boxers throw their right hand like that. Good body work, putting up the pressure. Round 2 is done. Another easy round for Andy Cruz. My grandson looking good so far. I can see Andy being a better fighter than Keyshawn down the line. Well, let's keep it honest. Andy Cruz is older than Keyshawn Davis. So down the line, he's going to be retired, and Keyshawn Davis is going to be in his prime. So let's not get fucking ahead of ourselves. Keyshawn Davis is what, 24 years old? Andy Cruz is 29. Damo Wester, us Cubans are built different. Morrell and Cruz are the future. Well, Morrell is definitely the future, but as I said, Cruz, he don't have that long ahead of him. He's kind of at the same position as guys like Oshaki and obviously Frank Martin. These dudes need to do it now because now's the time. They don't have all fucking day to be sitting around. If they don't do it now, they're never going to do it. Time is going to be gone before they're fucking there. Round 3. Let's see if he can stun this kid, put something on him. He's got to put his hands together, right? Combination punches. That's why I love guys like Leonard, right? Leonard landed big punches in the midst of combination punching because you can't stop every punch. And then obviously you don't sit down on every single punch, but you sit down on the big shot that's available to you, that you set up from your combination punching. A guy like Cruz, he should hold. Look at that. Did he step on his foot or did he just lose his balance? Something I hate about Cuban fighters, sorry 5,000, is when they land a punch, they will do this in the amateurs to try to show that they deserve a point. Fuck, I hate that. I wish somebody would just knock their ass out when they do that shit. It's like, just fight. Only 9 punches landed. Oh, in round 2. Oh, there you go. Nice right hand from Cruz. That's the thing. The more this kid opens up, the more Cruz is going to be able to land on him. I think that's why the Mexican guy is not fighting very Mexican. I like that punch. I think more orthodox fighters should be throwing their right hand like that because it's much safer. Let's go, Andy. There you go. Good pull counter. Good shot to the body. See, he shows you what Teofimo Lopez should have been doing. Pressuring with his feet, cutting off angles a little better, and going to the fucking body. That's what he should have been doing in his fight. What happened? Dude lost his mouthpiece. Damo Wester, yeah. Come on, stop wasting time. Your demise is inevitable. You knew that when you signed the contract. You know that Eddie Hearn and them really obviously see big things from him, putting him number 2 on the card just before Berlanga. As they should. This kid should be fast-tracked. I mean, let's think about who, rightfully so, could be next after he wins this fight for an Andy Cruz, the 135-pound matchroom fighter. Matchroom. So far, easy work. Let's just say 3-0. Lightweight. The lightweight division is really looking good. Another young kid from Mongolia today went to 8-0 with 4 KOs. A very good amateur fighter as well. Also a lightweight fighter. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name. I don't speak Mongolian, but it just shows you that weight division really is producing a lot of young up-and-coming fighters. I mean, obviously, we talked about Abdullah Mason. You got Floyd Schofield as well, and quite a few others. I know Floyd Schofield is getting mentioned a lot with Keyshawn Davis as well. Maybe a guy like Floyd Schofield next for Andy Cruz. Round 4. Ozzy Ennis is doing a great job with this dude. Well, to be fair, I mean, when you take a guy like Andy Cruz, he already is a great fighter, right? Technically, there's nothing you need to really teach him. The only thing he needs to learn is how to be more of a pro, right? And obviously, a lot of that you can learn in the gym with sparring. But I think a lot of it is muscle memory and hardwiring, right? You just got to get repetition in there because dudes have been amateurs for 300 fights. They're so used to fighting a specific way. Their bodies are so used to doing something in a certain way. And now all of a sudden they have to change everything, completely change that wiring. And of course, they're going to always revert back to what they're comfortable with, which is the slick outboxer defense first. We see that with Shakur, right? When the going gets tough, you just revert to what you're comfortable with. This is where you learn, Andy. If he's dirty with you, you dirty with him. Give as good as you get. This guy's just trying to survive. That's what's going to show you why it's tough, right? You're in with an opponent who doesn't really want to win. So you're not going to have many opportunities to really let your hands go like you would like. Nice jab. That was a chance. Big left hand. So who's the better father trainer? Leave it in the comment section below. Bozy Ennis, Chio's dad, Haney's father. Obviously those are, oh, his nose is all popped up now. Oh, going to war now, tasting blood. So which guys do you think is the best out of those 3 father combinations? Lopez, Ennis, or Haney? You better not duck me, son. I duck you so much, I changed my channel so that you couldn't find me, and still here you fucking are. Tracking me down like a bloodhound. Let's fight, bro. Sign the contract. The problem is we see the contract that you sent. You guarantee something and then you shortchange me. Isn't that what Tank Davis is saying? 10 million, that's not what you promised me. Dude doesn't understand that 10 is a guarantee. The rest is upside based on the success of the pay-per-view. He knows it, but he's just fucking capping like he does. I mean, what did his guarantee with Al Heyman against Garcia? Obviously, it was not that much, but then upside made it 30-something million. Round 5. Come on, Cruz. You got the kid's nose bloodied. He a little angry now. Now's the chance fucking to get him out of there. Be like Junto Nakatani. He's hunting. There you go. At least the Mexican kid is scrapping a little more now. As I say, a little more, then he starts running. Never seen a backpedaling Mexican. That's not true. You have. Problem with people is they cap too much. There's been plenty of Mexicans that were boxers, movers. Miguel Vasquez, the perfect example. And plenty of others as well. But this kid ain't getting paid enough to get hurt. How much do you think he's getting paid to be at this point of the card where you should get paid pretty good, but you know he's not getting paid that well? He's been throwing lots of lefts to the body. That's very Mexican. That's the one punch that he's thrown all night. Andy is methodical. That's it. A little more body work, Andy. That's what you need to do. Even if you don't use it so much in this fight, you're going to use it down the road. It's going to become more important. Problem with these Cuban fighters is they don't throw as much body work as the Mexicans. There you had him, Mexican. Scrap. Back him up. My bad. Vargas, who Oshaki beat. Come on. Oshaki beat what version of fucking Miguel Vasquez? Oh, Vargas. Tank only likes to beat bums and women. That's true. What do you think the chances of Tank fighting Andy Cruz are? Zero. But I know Frank Martin is better. I wonder how much trouble fucking. Maybe that's what they should do. Maybe they should throw Andy Cruz in with that Eurobum German Olympian that Frank Martin fought and see how easy Andy Cruz handles that kid. That kid's tailor-made for him. Boxer versus boxer. Loma versus Andy 2025. Loma's probably going to be retired by 2025. I think he's going to fight Kambosos and then probably have one more big fight and then probably call it a day. Already, what, 36 years old? The fight in 2025 should be Andy Cruz versus Keyshawn Davis, the new guy starting to take over the division. By that time, Abdullah Mason should be right there pushing for a world title. Obviously, Tank Davis will continue to have a WBA title and duck all the other opponents. Key Shakur Stevenson will obviously be probably the man on top at that point. Then you still have Zepeda, who's going to be there trying to get big matchups. So, you know, oh, that's a nice shot. That caught him clean. Too clean. This kid's taking a beating. Taking a beating. They're going to stop this fight just based on fucking volume. That's what you should do, Cruz. Just throw the punches together and the ref's just going to stop it. Especially now with his face being the way it looks. So, is this a better win than Keyshawn Davis versus Jose Pedraza? People love to dismiss and hate on Keyshawn. I agree. We got to get Keyshawn Cruz versus Kambosos for the step-up fight, Cruz by stoppage. Well, Kambosos is going to get beat by Lomachenko, so you're going to have to at least give him a fucking bounce-back fight before a fight with him and Cruz makes any sense. Why would he fight Cruz coming off of a Lomachenko loss? That would make no sense at all. There's a lot of opponents at 135 that make a lot of sense. The thing is, you don't need Andy Cruz to be in with a big-name opponent in his next fight, but at least a highly ranked opponent. Now he's going to the body a bit more. That's it. Put your hands together. There you go, buddy. The ref will stop this fight. Go. Boom. There your hands go. It looks like maybe he's going to be able to get the stoppage just off of volume. But what did I say? So we're looking at this division. This is BoxRec ranking, so it just lists not really a rank. Obviously, we have, top-level dudes. I think the only likely potential opponent for an Andy Cruz in the top 10 probably would be a guy like Zaur Abdelev, the Russian fighter. But being Russian, it's unlikely that fight's going to happen, obviously, because the Russians are on the out. He's bounced back. Obviously, in his last fight, he beat Roger Gutierrez, so that was a good win for him. He also beat Ricardo Nunez, who just had a very big victory recently as well. Obviously beat Jorge Linares back in 2022. So he would be a great opponent, and obviously very good amateur pedigree as well. But him being Russian, chances of that fight happening are probably 0-0 unless it happens in Saudi, because I think the Russians don't give a fuck about the whole Ukrainian Russian sort of situation. Oh, look, the kid's throwing now. There you go, kid. Zamparipa. There your hands go. Put some pressure on him. See if the Cuban can take it. Yeah, the last round, 18-2 in lands. It was a ass beating. Oh, yeah, hit that body. Hit that body. He didn't like that. He did not like that body shot. He did again. Oh, nice counter to the head. Nice. You keep hitting that body, man. The head's going to be wide open. I'm surprised the ref is keeping this going now. Yeah. It looks like the ref's going to stop it. Going to get the doctor in. Keep hitting that body, Cruz. This is good practice for Andy Cruz on trying to finish a guy off. That is an art, right? A skill. I saw somebody talk about how Tank Davis is one of the best finishers in boxing history. Ray Jackson. That might be cap, because while he is a great finisher and has great power and great speed, to say he's one of the best finishers in boxing history when you've yet to have a defining fight seems to be a little premature. Not that I'm trying to dismiss Tank. He is great at what he does for sure. But we also have to see him step up his level of competition and see if he's still able to be as, definitive. The Mexican kid showing his toughness now. So there we are. What's that, round 6? The doctor is looking at the guy. They might stop it, Sean. Yeah, no, I saw the ref say, take a look, doctor. I think Devin needs to work on that, Sean, learning how to finish guys. Devin does as well. But Devin is not a big puncher. So what he has to do is go do what he's doing now, which has been good, going to the body like he's going. You keep going to the body like he goes to the body, you're going to be like Lomachenko. Lomachenko is not a big puncher. He's fighting outside of his division, but because his body work is so effective, he's got quite a few stoppages, right? Not because he's a concussive puncher, not because he's a one-hit quitter, but just because he ends up getting guys with the body work. I mean, like this guy, I think the stuff that hurt him the most was the body shot that he got hit with early on. Round 8. Let's see if Cruz can finish it. Excuse me. This ref wants to stop it. Just a matter of Andy landing some clean punches. Andy Cruz is going dancing after, and the kid's going to the hospital. You guys didn't leave in the comment section below. Who do you think has the best father trainer? Boots Ennis, Devin Haney, or Tio Lopez? Which father is the best of these 3 trainers? I would do a poll in the comment section, but I'm not sure how to do polls on Streamline or StreamYard. There must be some attachment or something, but I haven't found it. There you go, kid. Use your jab. You got him in the corner. Now let your hands go. Let your hands go. Good body shot. He also doesn't throw many uppercuts, Andy Cruz. Not that we've had opportunities so much today, but nonetheless. You think the Haneys? Inui's dad is great as well. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention Inui's dad. He's got 2 world champions. That's true. Bill Haney for sure. Well, you think he's a great trainer or you think he's a great promoter, right? Because obviously Haney, out of all those dads, is probably the best promoter. Got to give Inui's dad credit. That's true. 8 rounds brought up a great point. His son last night, who has no power, ended up getting a great stoppage victory. That round was very boring. Considering we're so close to potentially getting a stoppage, that round, nothing really fucking happened. You figure that would have been a round where Andy would have really put up the pressure. That's the problem with many of these great amateur fighters. They don't go through the gears, right? They fight at one pace, consistent, do their thing, boom, 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 and they don't really pick the shit up. But let's look at potential opponents for Cruz. As I mentioned, you got the Russian fighter. Maybe that is something Matchroom could do in the Middle East. Maybe Edwin De Los Santos, right? He's going to be struggling to get an opponent after that performance against fucking Keyshawn. So, you throw him now in, or sorry, not with Keyshawn, with Shakur. You throw him in now with an Andy Cruz. And for him, this is a big bounce back fight. For Andy Cruz, it's an opportunity to make a huge statement. You beat De Los Santos, a guy that Shakur looked really bad against. And that's a huge statement win, and definitely puts you right in the top 10 of the division and in position for world title fights. Round 9. Let's go, Cruz. Put your hands together. There you go. Oh, there he is. Typical Cuban. Again, lands the right hand, raises his hand. You got to stop doing that shit. In the pros, that's going to get you fucking countered. First time you land a shot, you're going to fucking do that. Next time, I'm going to let you hit me and then counter you. Teal's dad knows where the good stuff is as far as a trainer. He needs help big time. I agree. Bill Haney, definitely a great promoter as well. Yeah, that's his thing. He fucking gets out on these streets. He's on these streets. Not saying he's a hoe, but he's on these streets. There you go. Try to get that body shot in. Good jab. Yeah, it looks like this fight will go the distance, which is disappointing. Obviously, you hope that Cruz can make statements, especially at this point of his career against this level of opponent. Because once he steps up and he faces better guys, is he going to have it easier or more difficult? Maybe easier. If guys let their hands go and are more aggressive, maybe that's going to play into his hands a little more. This guy wasn't nearly as aggressive as probably they felt he would have been. Right there, you got him on the ropes. Let those hands go. This kid's going to have PTSD at the end of this fight. Walking home with the paycheck. So, who else do we have to potentially fight for this kid? Raymond Muratella. I don't think Top Rank would put him in with Cruz at this point of his career. Giovanni Cabrera, maybe. Cabrera is a guy who obviously just fought Cruz, performed well against Cruz, is a soft punching fighter, so you don't need to worry about his power. But obviously, he's a much more straight up technical fighter, kind of like Andy Cruz. Albert Batchigayev, a guy that Andy Cruz would know very well from the amateurs. That's a fight I would like, but I don't see that happening. First, Albert's Russian, so chances are he's not going to be fighting anywhere on major TV anytime soon. Maxie Hughes. I think Maxie Hughes, he's going to be fighting Zepeda, right? And the winner of Zepeda, Maxie Hughes, is going to get the winner of Lomachenko versus Kambosos. So when Lomachenko beats Kambosos, it ain't easy afterwards. Then he's probably got a Zepeda fight. The last round, round 10, nice body shot from Cruz. Cruz had an easy night. I don't even know if he's got hit by more than 25 clean punches. You know, Keyshawn's going to talk shit after this fight. He would do good even to drop low and then throw the right hand high. Change those angles on this kid. This is why you have to appreciate a victory like last night from Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani was a quality fighter who, similar to this, didn't really want to jump in and put himself in harm's way, but he set up his shot and then just landed fucking the big left hand down the middle and then went out there and finished him along the ropes with, I think, like a 4-punch combination. My neighbor, I live beside mostly old people, so concerned about me that she gave me cake and apples for breakfast today. Because all I did was come back with a coffee after walking the dog. Off topic, but what the hell happened to Brandon Lee at 140 and the PBC got to do better, man. They got to do better. That's the problem with dudes like him. They fall through the cracks because there's only so many fucking fight slots that they have, right? And he was a guy that people thought potentially would be marketable, right? Asian American, exciting style, knockout power. But the problem is they haven't really maneuvered him very well. Who did he fight in his last fight? You probably don't know. I don't remember. And there's potentially good opponents for him, right? At 140, the PBC has quite a few good fights available for him. You think even a guy like Gary Antoine Russell, right? Throw him in with fucking that kid. That would be a great fight. A fight that you and me, hardcore boxing fans, we'd love that shit. I mean, most of us feel that Brandon Lee is not good enough to beat Gary Russell, but at a certain point, you got to step up or fucking become a stepping stone, right? And that's the point. How long are you gonna maneuver, and not actually do anything that anyone cares about? I forgot about that Brandon Lee dude. Laugh out loud. Yeah, PBC going out. Sad they done for once. They lose Canelo. Well, hopefully that's not the case because nobody wants to lose more boxing. But I think PBC should have done what I said all along. They should have signed with DAZN. And then you would have had Matchroom, Golden Boy, and PBC all under the DAZN umbrella. The possibility of making fights would have been so much easier. Now you got all that money from Saudi Arabia that they're willing to make fights. Fuck, man. That would have been a win-win for us boxing fans. Of course, the PBC dudes that are just haters, they don't want that to happen because they've been shitting on the PBC for so long. But for them also, financially, it's far cheaper. You put all these guys on PBC, you get less pay-per-view fights because more subscriptions, right? So then the PBC ends up paying for, all the subscribers end up paying for the fights. That was a great idea, Sean. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it just wasn't. And also, I know John doesn't understand this, but PBC is not global. ESPN is not global. Yesterday, I had to watch a fight on free streams. I had to pirate fucking the fight because outside of the States, you can't watch ESPN unless you have a VPN or do something else, right? Same as PBC. Whereas if you're on DAZN, fucking you can watch DAZN around the world just like Netflix. Right? And now going to Amazon, you think, oh, maybe now the PBC is going to be. No, it's not. Because in Taiwan, I can't watch any of that extra stuff on Amazon. Not the English Premier League football, none of that.
0, no shot there as he improves to 3-0 with that 1 KO in his last fight against Giovanni Straffon. Sergio, what would you like to see Cruz improve on between now and his next fight? Nothing. I mean, he did everything well.
Nothing.
What do you do?
He got to finish better. Come on, man.
Combinations a little bit more, but
Yeah, combinations more.
He couldn't put the combinations as well as he could have if he was dealing with a determined southpaw who kept punching at him every time he let more than 2 punches go. But other than that, y'all keep doing what you're doing and don't go backwards. You keep fighting tough.
Hey, you know, PBC should be marketing David Morrell way more. Good-looking kid, great style. He potentially is the future of the PBC. Him and Tank Davis, right? Like you think about the PBC outside of Morrell and Tank Davis, who the fuck is there that really could be marketable? Morrell's got a great style, speed and power. I mean, he's a good-looking kid. I mean, he's got everything, right? I think he is definitely the best fighter at 168. I mean, people may disagree, but, you know, in my opinion, but maybe it's just I like his style far more than Benavidez or Plant or Canelo. I don't think any of them are nearly as exciting stylistically as he is. Speed and power combination. Man, that kid is super athletic. Super athletic. He looks like he could fucking play in the NFL tomorrow. Well, the only good thing you get from this fight is that Andy Cruz gets rounds in, right? Against a tough game opponent and a guy that is going to make it tough for him because he's not going to like sit there and allow him to do what he wants. But, you know, outside of that, that's you get a paycheck, you get some rounds, you continue to work on what you're working with Boots Ennis' dad in the camp. And now we see what happens moving forward. I thought the WBA was supposed to consolidate the belts, but they're too afraid to press Canelo to fight him. No. Don't say that, because they also didn't push fucking Tank Davis to fight Devin Haney either, did they? Come on, keep that same fucking energy. There was a lot of consolidation fights that would have been great for boxing. And Tank Davis, Devin Haney supersedes fucking Canelo Alvarez versus fucking a kid who's 10-0. And other fights as well, right? Obviously, there's quite a few fights where we still have regular champions. I don't know what happened. They consolidated the heavyweight belt, and now they ended up recreating it by giving it to that other fucking kid, some Euro bum fucking guy that doesn't want to fight anyone. It's like, man, don't give that kid any belt. You think Cruz will be world champion even if he lacks power and he's ready for the big names right now? Oh, I think for sure he can be champion with no power. I mean, Haney and Shakur, not big power punchers. Shakur, initially when he came into the pros, when he was like 3-0, was fucking super amateur style in his game. Never sat down on any punches. I think Cruz is already ahead, but mind you, Cruz is older. Shakur, when he came into the pros and was 3-0, what was he? I don't know, 21, 22 years of age. But yeah, so let's see who else is here for this kid moving forward. There's a lot of no-name fighters, but obviously that doesn't really grab much attention. Some guys who've been beaten, like obviously Nakatila, but what would that prove? Nakatila already got destroyed So you throw him in with Cruz, and it's kind of like, okay, who cares? Maybe a Nahir Albright, right? That would be a good potential fighter. You think about this kid, Albright, tough American kid, 16 and 2, 7 KOs, technically pretty good. Obviously fought Keyshawn Davis and gave Keyshawn Davis easily the toughest fight of his career. I felt Keyshawn Davis won the fight, but this kid was game, good, and you throw him in with a Cruz, and it gives Cruz an opportunity to, one up Keyshawn by saying, look, you struggle with this guy, I beat his ass easy, right? So that potentially would be a good fight, and you could really market it, really push that. And I don't think Albright has a major promoter. I mean, I know he fought obviously on Top Rank ESPN, but I don't think ESPN has a contract with him. I think he's just kind of a free agent guy that can easily be maneuvered by anybody. So I think this should be the next opponent for Andy Cruz. And Andy Cruz people, I know you're watching. Set this shit up. I'm helping you market your fighter. You put him out there, and then you can totally continue this back and forth with Keyshawn Davis. Continue to build that shit up until you both have world titles and the fight actually makes sense. At this point, obviously, it may be a little premature. McCrory says he's going to do it right for the Irishman. Quigley gave it his all and got stopped. Quigley, man, let's hope you ain't in the fucking mold of Quigley, because if that's the case, you're getting stopped by the first fucking feather duster that hits you. That guy showed that he had no chin at all, which was disappointing. Who else if we don't get Albright? Of course, the guy I just mentioned is right there, but I don't think this fight happens. It's, the Mongolian kid obviously was a top amateur as well, currently now 8-0 with 4 KOs. You could market that because obviously both of them are top amateur fighters now in the pros. Even this guy, I think, makes tons of sense. I know you should be able to get him easily. The guy that Frank Martin fought, 12-1, his one loss coming to Frank Martin. You throw him in. He's got a fight set up now, but he's going to fight who? Some bum, a guy who's 16-25. After he beats that guy and gets a victory, then have him fight Andy Cruz on one of these things, right? Like either one of those guys is great because you beat a guy Frank Martin beat easier. Now you can cap and say, fuck, Tank Davis is fighting the dude that struggled with this kid. I destroyed that guy. Keyshawn Davis is calling out all these guys, but the guy he struggled with, I destroyed them. I'm ahead of both of those dudes, right? So, now you can really sort of put yourself in position for those fights. The only problem they have is there's no world champion currently on the zone Matchroom side at 135 pounds. You should be a matchmaker for Matchroom. I think so. Eddie Hearn, if you're listening to this, set me up. I'll work with your people. We can fucking chop this shit up. Come on, Eddie Hearn, hire Sean Newton. I think so. If you don't hire me, at least shout out my fucking channel on your next interview. That would be good too. Be good too. I never realized how difficult it is to get traffic to your channel until you start setting up the second channel. Obviously, here I have a little bit of credit from the 7,000 people that I had before, even though now it's still only 220. Where are you people? But I tried to set up my boxing channel, and then I set up a Liverpool channel and a basketball channel as well. Zero traffic to those videos. Zero. Right? Like, it's like they're lost on YouTube and nobody can find them ever, unless you specifically go looking for them. But you're never going to mistakenly fucking come across them. Have you seen Thurman's interview? He's extremely confident against Zoo. Porter says he wins as well. Man, I ain't even listening to fucking Keith Thurman. That dude is fucking shot, washed up, capping, selling a fight for a paycheck. That dude fucking is getting knocked out. And Sean Porter, overrated. Always has been overrated. Dude lost every single big fight of his career. The only big fight he won was against fucking Adrian Broner, a fighter who was more overrated than Sean Porter, right? Like, please. Fucking Tim Tszyu is so active. Right now, he's fucking just moving at a way higher level than anything Keith Thurman has done in years, right? He thinks because he fought Mario Barros, you're going to beat Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu would knock out fucking Mario Barros. I mean, these guys are underestimating Tim, and that's fine. They can do that. And once, of course, Tim knocks out Keith Thurman, they're going to say, whatever, Keith Thurman was old, inactive, and irrelevant. Yeah, okay, that's true. But now, of course, the opportunity to potentially fight Bud Crawford for Tim Tszyu makes a lot of sense. Now that fight is marketable. You can justify it a lot more. Here's my man, Eddie.
Well, after that, you're getting a frequent flyer.
Both those dudes are tall.
Knockout Chaos, March 8th, live on DAZN. How much more nervous are you about AJ Francis Ngannou in the aftermath of what Ngannou did against Mexico?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like on paper, you know, we're clear.
He is getting retired.
How does Ngannou beat these guys? But as you saw last time, very nearly. You know, dropped us and Fury arguably beat him in the fight as well. And the confidence that Ngannou would have got from really doing that to the best heavyweight in the world on paper right now surely gives him great momentum and belief going into the fight. But it's a mountain of a man. You know, I remember standing next to him at the press conference. He's like an immovable object. But AJ looks so good. He looks so focused. I think he's going to take Francis Ngannou apart on March 8th. But the jeopardy is there. The danger is there. He's got to stay switched on. And you know, it's going to be a scary night in Riyadh.
It is a scary night because anyone can land a big punch, but in truth, AJ should just be able to beat him with jabs and right hands. That's it. Boom. Move, move, move. Change your angle. Jab, jab, jab. Wait till he throws something. Fucking counter. He should be able to school Francis Ngannou. And he's got the kind of power that Francis is going to hesitate once he gets hit a couple times. He ain't going to be so froggy after you fucking catch a few hard jabs to your nose and a couple right hands off your dome.
Now, Ngannou is a freak of a man, a freak of a size, and he's a freak of an athlete and really of a combat specialist. And he has no fear whatsoever going into that ring with Anthony.
Yeah, it's going to be a don't blink type of fight. Two guys, big punchers going into that fight. Two big punchers about to step in the ring in Edgar Berlanga and Patrick McCrory. And we know, and we've talked about
Paddy ain't a big puncher.
Just how high the stakes are. But you're about to tell me the stakes are actually a little bit higher for Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah, we've been petitioning with the WBA. They confirmed to us yesterday this fight is an eliminator for #1 spot. I believe the winner of this fight tonight will be mandatory for Canelo Alvarez. We'll be pushing for that. It'll be #1. And, you know, with Canelo Alvarez, we have an opponent, an impressive early...
Who travels back in time? Keith Thurman, you mean?
Tell this sold-out arena that we won that fight. And I appreciate that maybe Berlanga needs one more after this to give him the credibility for that shot. But he comes to fight. He comes to excite. He's not one of
Eddie Hearn ain't lying. He's marketable, but he needs more than a Paddy fucking to get a Canelo fight. He needs maybe a Munguia.
They really believe he's going to go for it. But I think, as we know, he's going to go for it in the first 6 rounds. In my opinion, this fight won't go past 6 rounds. Famous last words. I think we're going to see a big knockout in this fight.
Well, does it have to end with a knockout? Because look, you say
yes.
the WBA will make Berlanga the mandatory. I think it's more important for him to score a big knockout. I don't think a decision does him any good.
Without doubt. You cannot labour to victory in this fight against Patrick McCrory. To get any kind of momentum for that Canelo Alvarez fight, you've got to look sensational in there tonight. You've got to flatten this guy. And as I said, beat your chest on the turnbuckle and call out South Canelo Alvarez from Mexico against Puerto Rico. Anything less than exceptional, explosive, and exciting is not good enough for Berlanga tonight.
All right, let you get back to your
And it's true. It's like Munguia against Sean Ryder. He made a statement in that fight. That's what Berlanga has to do. Yet he's beating a guy in McCrory. Who the fuck is this kid? Call me crazy, but I think Thurman has a chance. Well, everybody has a chance, right? Thurman is a good boxer and mover with a good jab and good hand speed. So, in theory, he should be able to outbox Tim Tszyu. But we've seen Tim Tszyu with good boxers before who were supposed to be able to outbox him. And both of those guys got, well, one didn't get knocked out. One went the distance. The other one got flat lined. But here we are. What are we talking about this fight? Where are we? Who are those people laughing outside my house? Yeah, this kid, 18-0 with 9 KO. So he's got 500% fucking KO rate. I wouldn't call that a big puncher. And when you look at who he's fought, how old is he? He's 35 fucking years old. 35. What's he been doing his whole fucking life? Fought in the amateurs, came to the pros, and the biggest name he's faced and beaten was who? His last fight, he fought Steve Woodall, 18-1-1. Never heard of him. Diego Ramirez, never heard of him. Dimitro Fides, never heard of him. Leon Bunn, undefeated German fighter. I do know him. That's a good victory, but he's a Euro bum, right? Or sorry, a Euro bun. He beat Paraban. That's a good win. Stopped both of those guys. But both those guys are Euro bums. Neither of those guys have had big victories against top 20 competition. At 35, can McCrory do it? I don't know. Irishmen are tough bastards. Tough bastards, but tough doesn't make you win. Tough just makes you competitive. He beat Steve Collins Jr. That would have been a big Irish on Irish fight back in the day. Stopped him in 8 rounds. I'm sure that fight was hyped like crazy by the Paddies. What's all this bullshit going on? All these kids screaming and playing. Damn, didn't have to put up with kids too much all week. Yeah, but what's that stupid tattoo on his back? All I know, if Berlanga fights Jaime Munguia, I'm putting all my money on Munguia to fucking beat his ass. To beat his ass. Because I've never been much of a fan of this kid. He too stiff, too muscle bound, too robotic. The one thing about Paddy should be much more fluid, I think, in the round. But how's he going to deal with the power? That's the question. How's he going to deal with the power? The power of Gray Skull. Oh, God. I'm missing the hype.
Please welcome the undefeated challenger from St. James's, Belfast, Aldrich, the Pharaoh of
Is this Sinead O'Connor? Isn't she dead? I think Sinead's dead, right? It's a reason why Bob canned Berlanga. He's a walking loss. I think so.
Be the first one to tell you that he never believed he was going to be here. This was a kid that had relatively limited amateur experience, never really dreamed after his amateur career was over that he'd turn pro. He turns pro, He wins some big fights, and now here he is, one fight away from potentially being in the world championship.
And we know why he's there, because he's Irish. He's got a small country that loves boxing behind him. So as long as you beat the tin cans that are put in front of you and stay undefeated, eventually you're going to get an opportunity, right? And that's basically what's happening. And really this is not an opportunity. He's being set up to be put down by Berlanga, who's trying to fight somebody to build himself up for a potential Canelo Alvarez fight, right? And I mean, let's be real. If Berlanga beats fucking this kid, it doesn't mean he deserves a fucking Canelo Alvarez fight. And nobody is going to be happy if Canelo fights Berlanga coming off of this victory. Nobody. People aren't even going to be really happy if Canelo fights Jaime Munguia coming off of the John Ryder fight. But that's super legitimate. Like, you cannot ask for a much better opponent than a Jaime Munguia coming off of that kind of definitive victory against the guy Canelo Alvarez fought and wasn't able to stop. But this fight, I mean, I don't know. Outside of your daughter with her cool hairdo, what else you got going there, Berlanga, with your ugly pink leather jacket? Puerto Rico's in the house. One thing you gotta like about Puerto Ricans, their look is tight. The shave, the clothes. Look at that girl's hair. That shit's fucking. But I don't know who this rapper is. Yeah, Orlando is a hotspot for Puerto Ricans. That's why they're having the fight there. Really?
Everybody wants the knockout here. We want the Brooklyn Beast to be back. And what better to do it than in Orlando here in front of all these people? When Olympia showed up, John Jones sitting down here right behind me. They'll leave you back. Just punching through with your grinder. It's beautiful. Like the whole atmosphere feels like a World Cup. You know, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Ireland, everything. But yeah, it's the most talk about that at any fighter because what I said earlier, he has to show he can knock people out of higher opposition. See if he showcases that tonight. And Berlanga is competing with entrepreneurs tonight, but he's also competing against Jaime.
Well, let's just say this. If Canelo Alvarez on the PBC fights Berlanga in May and Charlo in September, that's some. You're not going to be able to not criticize Canelo Alvarez for that level of fucking competition when you have guys like Jaime Munguia, David Benavidez, who are sitting there. And obviously, if you wanted to throw Charlo in next and then one of those guys after that, that wouldn't be so bad. But Berlanga is not even a PBC fighter. I mean, you can understand that Matchroom is holding him back, and that's what I think it is. Eddie Hearn already told us, right? He still needs one more fight before that fight makes sense. So you can see that they're really holding Berlanga there after the PBC contract is done. And then they say, okay, now we got Munguia and we have Berlanga on the zone. So come over here, take on these two unbeaten monsters with good fan bases on the zone. And that's a good marketing ploy. And obviously it gives Berlanga and Munguia opportunities to get a few big victories under their resume to hype those fights up before he finishes his PBC contract. But that means for the PBC, you got to take Charlo. But the way he's looking now, you ain't going to get no credit for that. And then David has to be fucking one of those two fights. If David is not one of those two fights, you're going to be fucking criticized and ripped like crazy. And you can see David's fighting Vosdick. So maybe that means that, obviously the fight with him and Canelo is in September. Have you heard rumors PBC isn't willing to pay Canelo his $35 million guarantee to fight Jamal, but they will fight Munguia? I've heard that, but they don't control Munguia. He's a Golden Boy fighter. So that shit makes no sense. Because if that's the case, then Golden Boy is going to fork out the money. And you're the one that signed him to a 3-fight deal. So at this point, I'd be like, whatever, let's just cancel the deal then. Because who did you think I was going to fight? The Charlos and fucking potentially Spence and Benavidez were the 4 potential opponents that he was going to get when he signed with the PBC. One got KO'd. He beat one. One looks like fucking a drug addict. And then there's still one more left. Right? So, we know the way the PBC rolls. The PBC ain't fucking putting Munguia in the conversation for a PBC contract pay-per-view. Impossible. Like the PBC is going to share pay-per-view numbers with Golden Boy? Bullshit. I mean, oh yes, they did with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, but that was a big mega fight. Jaime Munguia, Canelo, it's a good fight. I don't think it does fucking 1.2 million though, but maybe. How having a big fight in Orlando, Florida? Isn't it like the home of fucking retirees? Isn't the average age like fucking 67 years old? Why is David moving up when Canelo's WBC is due to near in early March? Maybe Suleiman will strip him. Suleiman ain't stripping him. I don't think he's moving up because he's moving up. I think he's moving up so he doesn't have to drain himself down too much in his next fight, a stay busy fight against Vostik. And then he's going to drain himself to get the big money fight with Canelo in September. I agree, Sean, Canelo's great, but that doesn't put him above criticism. You can't be a real boxing fan if you defend him fighting Berlanga and Charlo instead of Morel. Well, don't put Morel in the conversation. I respect Morel, but Berlanga makes more sense than Morel. Benavidez or Munguia, because Morel doesn't sell. He's fucking up there in Minnesota. Minnesota, eh? He ain't even in fucking Miami, where all the Cubans live. 21-0, 16 KOs, and exposed for biting people. Do you think if Benavidez wins at 175, he'll even come back to 168? For sure. To fight Canelo Alvarez? No problem. He's just fighting at 168, so he don't have to drain himself down. He's going to be able to make weight easy. He's not going to starve himself. So he's going to be good, be explosive, be able to get potentially another fantastic win on his resume. And then Canelo Alvarez in September. Berlanga. I expect you to fucking stink the joint out as much as I expect you to get a KO victory. That's as much fucking faith I have in you. Look at the Puerto Rican chicas. The Puerto Rican chicas are in the house. But I hope he gets an exciting knockout. I mean, look at fucking the Irishman. He looks like he just stepped out of the pub. Let's get ready to rumble. Patty is looking for the pot of gold. And so is Berlanga, named Canelo. And here we go. Round one. In the very little anticipated matchup between McCrory and Berlanga. I haven't seen any fights this year that have got such little praise or conversation about it, right? Like literally, nobody's really said anything about this fight because really, nobody really rates Berlanga. We understand the marketability behind him, but I mean, his last few performances have not made him look very good. Being suspended for biting someone, I mean, he thinks he's fucking Luis Suarez. If he's Luis Suarez, he should relocate to Miami because that's where Louis is right now with Messi. Will Berlanga be the next great Puerto Rican fighter? Is he the next Cotto? The next Tito Trinidad? Steps straight out of the pub. They're Puerto Ricans, not chicas, something. What is it? Nenas. Nena sounds like fucking aunt. Puerto Rican nenas. So chica is only towards Mexicans. Good thing I never called a Puerto Rican girl fucking chica. I get slapped. Good jab from Patty. Patty's using his jab and his length. Let's see if he's like his promoters. Two guys that had very good amateur pedigree, good boxers, good technical fighters, and had chins of glass. Both of them. Dude, not me. He's the one climbing on my neck. Nenas. In Chinese, that means tits. Nene. So far, Andy Cruz looks like a much more exciting fighter than Edgar Berlanga. And that's saying something. I don't know what it's saying, but it's saying something. I would laugh and howl if fucking Patty fucking dropped him with a right hand. Patty kind of looks like Andy Lee, right? Same kind of physical build. I wonder if he fucking got the left hand Andy Lee had. If he had the left hand Andy Lee had, then we'd be talking about this fight. Tio would get booed bad if he fights in Orlando. Really? Because he's Dominican? I mean, how many people in this place? 5,000? It's not a very big venue. We're in your, yeah. Where's his jab, right? Dude, ever since you started fighting live bodies, your confidence has fallen apart. Will you snap the fuck out of it? You gotta let your hands fucking go. You can't knock someone out if you're sitting there posing, looking for the perfect shot. That's what his manager just told him, or his trainer. Tio's from Honduras. Oh, sorry. Whatever. They're all Latinos. Oh, there you go. There's a good straight jab, and it shook the Irishman. I think right now Patty's up 1-0, but that was the best punch that Berlanga's landed the whole fight. Man, nobody wants to see this kid fight fucking Canelo. Canelo destroys him. I think 154-pound Charlo fucking destroys him. I think 147-pound fucking Crawford destroys him. Oh, yeah. He said some comments about Puerto Rico, right? Against Ortiz. And then shit the bed. What's up, brother? Welcome in. Who do you got winning this fight? The Patty or the Rican? That Irish skin is so sensitive. He's already red in his back from against the ropes. Headbutt him. He bites, you headbutt. Oh, Paddy hit him with a fucking left. Did that just make his knees go weak? If I was this kid, I'd get Andy Lee as my trainer for sure. Look at him switching. He's like Terrence Crawford out there. It's confusing, Berlanga. He's never seen an Irishman dance before. Crowd is booing. Of course they're going to boo. You know, people are fucking fickle, man. You come to support a fighter, you got to like give him a chance. If he scores like a sensational knockout in the 8th round, it's still going to be a sensational knockout. It's like Junto Nakatani last night. The first few rounds, there wasn't much action, not much happened. And then, boom! That's all she wrote. I think it's 1-1 after 2 rounds. Round 3. Does his back say chosen? Should have put 1 underneath. Slow fight so far. No surprise. Berlanga is showing this guy too much respect. Yes, he is. Sean, are you familiar with the Nordic Warrior? Yes, I am. Yeah, he has a chosen tattoo. Chosen by Canelo. That's what he's going to put underneath. There you go. You landed a right hand. Berlanga's hand speed is. We should throw him in with David fucking Morrell. That's the fight that should be made. Berlanga versus David Morrell. PBC, make it happen. Offer Berlanga good money. Because that's easy fucking fight for fucking Morrell. Morrell will kill him. Kill him. Cuba, Puerto Rico. You can market it. See, the problem with this kid is I think he thinks he's too much of a star, and I think he's too much of a prima donna based on hype alone. You know, that whole 16-0 fucking 16 first round knockout. It's like, dude, man, you're fighting bums. Nobody cares. Nice little left from Paddy. Good jab from Paddy. Paddy switching, dancing, holding. That's it. Frustrate this guy, man. We know when he gets frustrated, what's he going to do? He's going to bite you, right? You can win the fight because he gets disqualified. And then Paddy can get a fight with Canelo. Oh, that's a good left hand to the body from Berlanga. Berlanga versus Andrade. Oh, fuck. I don't know if anybody wants to see that fight. You're going to feed Berlanga to a hungry prime tiger and Morale? Yes. And that way we don't need to fucking listen to about Berlanga anymore. And we can say, who should get a Canelo fight? Morale. Look at that. Dirty, cheap motherfucker, eh? Fucking elbow to the head. How come you don't take a point away from that, ref? He's a dirty prick. Dirty prick. Nothing likable about him. Even Puerto Ricans are going to fucking disown the motherfucker. That was a good body shot, though. But no, it didn't hurt. Come on, Paddy! Berlanga still needs more step-up fights before fighting anyone elite. Yes, he does. But the problem is he's acting like he's a superstar. So he's wanting big money. He's dancing with fucking hip-hop superstars. And he thinks that's his lifestyle. Getting paid $100,000 to fight fucking Paddy McCrory, that ain't gonna cut it. But does he deserve more? Fuck. I would not have paid for tickets to go to Orlando if I lived in Orlando to watch this show. I can tell you that. The only reason I'm watching this is because it was on DAZN. If I had to find this on a stream, I probably wouldn't have even bothered doing that. Because everybody knew Andy Cruz was going to go the distance, and everybody knew that fucking Berlanga was going to be fucking shit. I think it's the end of the road for Andrade. Thank God. Another fucking hype job. Is that Berlanga's wife standing up in the crowd? Come on, honey. How can I buy dresses like this if you don't get the Canelo fight? That's it. You let your hands go, at least fucking your combinations look good. It took literally 4 rounds before you let your hands fucking start to go in combination. 4 rounds. Oh, they almost both knocked themselves out there. That would have been fucking great. Can you imagine? That shit would have been unbelievable. Rocky fucking moment. You gotta throw that jab, Paddy. Don't let him walk up to you like that. Hit him in the nose. Ah, that's a good right hand from Berlanga. Good jab from Berlanga. Finally used the jab. Looks like he's getting his confidence finally. It only took 4 rounds. Come on, Paddy. There you go. Throw a punch. Berlanga versus Plant. Plant will kick his ass. Yeah, his attitude makes him easy to dislike. Like Floyd. Still a prospect. I think he's got potential, but he better stay away from the monsters at 168. Sean, are you a bare knuckle boxing fan, MMA guy? Not really. Prospect. Machado Berlanga will go out like Darrell. of the fight if he fights Plant. Yeah, Plant will beat him easy. Beat him easy. He's too slow, and his feet are fucking too slow. I really wonder what that punch was. Oh, there, yeah, he wobbled there. That should have been fucking the punch both guys knocked themselves out on. That would have been great. Classic. I wonder who Plant's going to fight next. I would like to see him fight Charlo. That's a fight that makes sense. I mean, he slapped Charlo. Fucking, there's big reason to make that fight. But Charlo versus Canelo? Fuck off. That makes no sense. But Plant versus Charlo, we can get excited about that fight. Plant's coming off of a loss to David Benavidez. Come on, Patty. You can't let him sit back and pick his spots like that. You need to throw a punch. He's like out jabbing you now. Yeah, it looks like this fight probably won't go longer than 8 rounds. Patty's starting to get broken up now. And his legs are betraying him. But as I say, is this even one of the top 5 fights on fucking Berlanga's resume? Quigley, garbage. 2 Irishmen back to back, eh? 2 fucking garbage fights. But I think Angulo is a better fighter. Steve Rolls from Canada is probably a better fighter. Coceres is probably a better fighter. Even Desmond Nicholson, I think, beats fucking this kid. That's just my opinion. How about to witness an elusive Berlanga knockout? He did. Yeah, man. That's when they should have fucking announced that fight. After Plant slapped him in the face. Bitch slapped him. Took his soul. And in truth, I think Plant beats him. Berlanga might finally break his 5-fight UD streak. Has it been that long since he's got a fucking knockout? Didn't he knock out Quigley? He went the distance with Quigley. Quigley, who got knocked out by who? Yeah, fucking Demetrius Andrade knocked out fucking Quigley. Jesus Christ, man. Oh, my face has got a cut. Come on, Patty. If you looked like you were confident out there, he wouldn't be fucking throwing so many punches on you. But because you look like you're fading, he's getting confident. It's your own fault. Toriano Johnson stopped him. Demetrius Andrade stopped him. And Berlanga went the distance with him. Fucking Christ. What does that tell you? Yeah, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 UDs in a row. The man with great knockout power. Maybe a Berlanga David Pacheco fight. Oh no, they don't want to do that. Pacheco will kill him. I like Pacheco. He's one of the most underrated fighters at 168. He will destroy fucking Berlanga. That fight will just be ugly. They should make it. They should make it. I'd like it. I'd like to watch fucking Pacheco beat the piss out of this guy. I wonder if I'm racist because I don't like Berlanga. Because you're not allowed to not like fighters. You got to love everybody. Well, certain people. Other people you should dismiss and destroy. Get out of the corner, kid. Oh, Mimbila versus Berlanga. Do that fight. Berlanga cannot cope with Mimbila. No fucking chance. That guy's pressure, man, that dude spent fucking 3 rounds not even throwing a punch because he was too tentative. He's not going to be able to be too tentative against Mimbila. Those first 3 rounds, Mimbila is going to be all over him. Right, that's the thing. The 168-pound division has some really, really good competition. I say you throw him in with fucking Bekmelakuziev, right? The Uzbekistanian fighter who got knocked out by Rosado. I think Beck beats him. Beck's body work and aggressiveness. I don't think he likes when a guy comes to fight. He just likes when a guy allows him to do what he wants to do. This fight's done. Round 6. But I still don't think it's means much. I can honestly tell you I've never seen McCrory fight before. And I probably never will again. Get off the ropes, McCrory. McCrory's tough. He's taking it. Oh. And there you go. Throw in the towel. Yeah, okay, dude. Fuck off. He's listening to her and getting on the ropes, banging his chin. Come on, man. You're garbage. Listen to the fucking announcers. Sean, are you a gamer? Man, I'm 56 years old. I'm too old for that. Man, fucking the commentators are crazy. Yeah, John's next video. Sean Newton hates on Puerto Ricans. Middle Easterners and whites are okay to dislike. That's true. A little bloody, but he got it done. Done, we say. Canelo, Sean. Oh, God, no. Haha. Told you, Sean. Berlanga mid-rounds. That ain't a fucking shock or surprise, Larry. Oh my God, stop, man. You're capping like fucking crazy. Beat somebody. Right now, I can pick 10 dudes that fucking can easily beat Berlanga at 168. Let's do it. This shit's going to be easy. No problem. And I won't even pick the top 2 fucking fighters in the division. Who cares? It was a cherry pick. You picked a dude that he should fucking beat. So we take Canelo and David out of it, and then you got Munguia. Munguia would beat him. I think fucking Sergey Derevchenko would beat him. Christian Mbilla would beat him. Caleb Plant would beat him. Fucking Andrade went down in weight. Dave Morrell kills him. Vladimir Shishkin, maybe you could beat him. Fucking Iglesias, the Cuban fighter. I don't know so much about him. Bekmelakuziev, I think that's a 50-50 fight. Diego Pacheco kills him. Eric Bazinian, my Canadian brethren, he might beat him. All the guys under this, he he could potentially beat them, right? But Pacheco, Beck, Morel, Plant, Mbila, Derevchenko, fucking Jaime Munguia, that 7 dudes, I think, easily beat him. So how do you get a world title fight when there's 7 dudes that aren't getting a world title fight that could beat you?
Nothing to be ashamed of if you record, because he went down swinging. There's a man that's never
Nothing to be ashamed of.
on this stage with this opportunity. He made the most of it. He tried.
That's the point. You told him he's never been in a fight like this at this stage with this level of opposition. So how does this set you up for a fucking fight with Canelo Alvarez? Right? I'm going to slap the kid next door in the head, and the commentators are going to say, he's never been in with a 56-year-old grown adult, right? So he has nothing to be disappointed about. But then I'm going to ask for a fight with Canelo Alvarez afterwards. Yeah, Munguia clearly more skilled, way better fighter. When I told the public Berlanga was a fraud, they laughed me out of the building. Oh my God, he's a fraud. Munguia has more skills than Berlanga, though. I think it would be a better fight. Munguia would kill Berlanga. I would rather see Canelo versus Berlanga than Canelo Munguia. What? Since Berlanga has more raw power than Munguia. You crazy, Larry. You crazy, dude. Raw power don't mean anything when you're afraid to let your hands go. The dude spent the first 3 rounds not throwing a fucking punch against a nobody. And only when the guy looked like he was tiring out in the 4th round did he start throwing some shots. And now he's acting like he's fucking Godzilla. It's like, dude, you had 5 opponents in front of you that aren't even top 10 opponents. You couldn't fucking destroy any of them. Now you got a dude who's top 25 and you knocked him out. Congratulations. Because like literally, when you go through this list, when does this kid pop up? He should fight the French guy, Kevin fucking Lila Saggio. That guy will beat him. 26 on BoxRec, this kid is ranked. 26th. So you beat a kid who's ranked 26th on BoxRec. I think if you get the 30th fighter, this guy, Beck, Kazakhstani fighter, I think he beats fucking Berlanga. The dude is garbage. Straight up garbage. He's always been garbage. Benavidez Vosdick. That's a good fight. The Puerto Rican monster. You expect him to come out swinging when he's cold in the first round? He shouldn't fucking be cold in the first round. You should be fucking warmed up in the back, ready to fucking go. What do you mean cold? What's he going to do if he fights Mbila? You think Mbila is going to come out and be cold in the first round? Yeah, he's going to be cold. Cold beating your ass. Guy he thought was a bum, but he did what he was supposed to. Yeah. And what do you want, a cookie? Like literally, you fought a bum and you did what you're supposed to do.
You know, he traveled from another country without his family, I know it was tough, and he put on one of his posts, Cinderella Man. You know, so I knew deep down in my heart that was coming to fight. I prepped very well.
Your mindset in the early rounds, because there wasn't a lot of activity coming from you in the first couple of rounds, and then you started that with
Yeah, the first thing I told my coach was, I wanted to, see what he's getting basically, when I'm receiving, so I can catch his timing. I feel like people are so scared, not scared, but they're intimidated with my power, so I didn't want to just be an offensive fighter. I'm learning how to put my defense before anything, check them out, and then I start landing punches.
So what changed for you in the 6th round of this fight? What were you seeing? How were you able to get the stoppage?
I seen the breakdown. I knew already. I was breaking it down little by little. He's a veteran. I didn't want to go crazy.
He's a veteran who's never fought a fucking top fucking 20 fighter in his career. Sean has a point, Larry.
Not really. I knew it was there. I just got to understand that nobody's going to go out in the first round, so I got to set it up.
How important was it for you to come into this fight fully healthy, to have a second training camp with Mark Tariq? How important was that for you?
Amazing, man. I trained damn near almost 6 months for this guy. I worked very hard. But it wasn't really towards him. It was just myself, building myself back up to who I am.
You are now the mandatory challenger for the belt that's held by Canelo Alvarez. Do you believe you earned a shot at Canelo Alvarez tonight?
Oígate, let me know, fans, let me know. Puerto Rico! Yo quiero Canelo. Now, I want now. Yo quiero Canelo ahora. Yo quiero pelear con él. Mira, mi gente, que quiere pelear con Coco.
Of course you want it. Everybody wants it.
Vamos arriba. Mierda. We want Canelo next.
Yeah, please Canelo next, because if I have to fight a real fighter, I'm going to get knocked out, and then that big money fight will fall away. Sean, is Thurman an underdog based off of skill or activity? Inactivity.
Everybody in Orlando for coming out and showing his support here tonight. It was incredible. That's exactly what he needed. The statement performance. He's mandatory now for Canelo Alvarez's title. He's number one with the WBA.
Now let's put this in context. So if Paddy McCrory had beaten fucking Berlanga, he would be the mandatory for Canelo's title. And then he would be sitting there saying, I deserve a Canelo Alvarez fight. Let that sink in to give you fucking a concept of the level of competition and why neither one of those guys deserve fucking anything but a David Morrell fight, a fucking Diego Pacheco fight. Pacheco, isn't he a DAZN fighter? Let's make that fight. Pacheco will kill him.
That'll be the biggest fight of this year. And one more thing, you are, I'm sure,
The biggest fight of the year.
How realistic do you think it is that we see Edgar Berlanga Canelo advance in May?
Listen.
Not realistic at all.
I promise you that. Benavidez, Charlo, Munguia, Berlanga. Like, I know he wants to give the fans real fights. He wants to fight people that come to fight. Here he's got a young contender with plenty of heart, plenty of power, that will stand in front of him and fight him. And that's why it will be a great fight. May or September, I believe you will see Canelo Alvarez against Edgar Berlanga this year.
Let's fucking pray that that doesn't happen. Plus, Zoo is nice and very active. Very active. You see, I'm not surprised DAZN is pushing this so much. Of course, why wouldn't they, right? They know Canelo Alvarez is a big money fight. But let's get fucking real. Let's stop the cap. No fucking real boxing fan that isn't Puerto Rican or a Berlanga fan thinks that Berlanga fucking Canelo Alvarez should be happening anytime in 2024. This dude hasn't beaten anybody. Anybody. Like, how do you become, put this in perspective, how do you become a number one mandatory opponent for somebody when you've never beaten anybody in the rankings, right? Let's just look at the boxing rankings right now, specifically for the WBA, right? Because that's what it said. They said the WBA rankings, right? So Berlanga is the mandatory. Where are we? The WBA should make Berlanga versus Morrell since he's the WBA mandatory. Exactly. How is he the mandatory and not fucking the regular champion who's been holding the title for fucking 3 years now? Canelo will be kicked off my pound for pound list if he fights Berlanga. Canelo is the cash cow, so he gets to pick who he wants to fight. That's true. But in saying that, some fights just shouldn't happen at this point. Canelo should not be fighting Berlanga because he's part of the PBC as well. This guy's part of DAZN, so the fight doesn't even make sense there. But let's just quickly take a look. Okay, so WBA, right? So, really? The WBA rankings are always fucking the worst in boxing, so it's not surprising. But they have Christian Mbila right now number 1 in their rankings. Eric Bazinian number 2. McCrory, this kid, number 3. And Berlanga number 8. So Berlanga, by beating the number 3 ranked fighter, now supersedes and passes over Christian Mbila to become the mandatory, even though you also have the regular champion, David Morrell, there. So you have 2 fighters who would kill fucking Berlanga in David Morrell and Christian Mbila. Like, literally, I don't think anybody in boxing thinks that this kid would beat either one of those 2 fighters. So how does he supersede them to get an opportunity to make a big money fight against fucking Canelo. Like, I understand if he beat one of those guys and then once he crossed over back to the zone that they make that fight, that shit, nobody would have a problem with that. You beat a Mimbili and then Canelo fights his two PBC fights and then re-signs with the zone. And then that's the first fight he takes when he crosses over. That's understandable. Business, marketability, and also the opponents, right, that you fought. But now, based on this, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't even know how this kid McCrory was even ranked in the top 5 by the WBA. Because I guarantee you, when I look at the other rankings, I'll be lucky if I see his name anywhere. WBC, let's look at their rankings. McCrory, nowhere. IBF. McCrory is 13th. WBO. McCrory is 14th, right? This dude just barely is in the rankings of 2 sanctioning bodies, unranked by another one, and was ranked number 3 by the WBA because the fix was in all along. The fix was always in when the WBA is involved. Cuba, Puerto Rico have that fight in Miami or New York. Morel versus Berlanga next. That should be the fight. If I was Morel, I'm here tonight. I'm saying, what do you mean, man? I'm the fucking WBA fucking regular champion. You ain't superseding me to get a Canelo Alvarez fight. I fucking paid my sanctioning fees for my title. I put in my work. You want that fight? Beat me, Pandeco. Berlanga won't even fucking go close to Morel. I think Canelo just looking for a fight that brings in the most money, so maybe he'll fight Berlanga for the Mexico versus Puerto Rico fan base. Sean is on point. The WBA is messy as hell and backwards. Eddie Hearn keeps his foreign talent fed with a steady Brit diet of journeymen. That's true. You can't blame him. He's a promoter. But that's what he's supposed to do. But us as fans are supposed to fucking see the truth. WBA is sketchy. Morel was interim champ in 3 fights. Why Miami doesn't have a strong boxing presence? Because it's all... I don't know. I think the people that live in Miami, they're all rich. They don't care about boxing. You think the immigrants and the Latinas and Latinos would be more into it. But, man, I don't know why. Not big fans, right? Yeah, that shit's fucking whack, man. Truthfully. The only worst rankings is probably the IBF, who has William Skull as the mandatory position for a Canelo Alvarez fight, right? Like, who the fuck is that kid fought? I know he's Cuban, but he's like Morel. Very few fights and literally hasn't faced anybody any of us know. But then you look at the WBC, they have Jaime Munguia number 1. WBO, Jaime Munguia number 1. See, that makes sense. Munguia just beat fucking John Ryder and beat Derevchenko in his last 2 fights.
Championship. Only to lead my career towards the championship. So, but this is still leading me towards the championship. Though.
Look at this man. He's a beast.
So I have to win. And when I win, I'll move on to...
Yeah, you're going to get paid good money to fight an MMA fighter, and then you can chase undisputed. Miami is like a country of its own. That's true. Florida has no state tax. Haney versus Garcia would have been good in Miami. Fans are fickle in Miami. Why Miami? Yeah. But dudes, I need to take a piss. So thanks for jumping in. Peace out. I'm probably going to make a video about Berlanga and why he doesn't deserve an opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez next. So stay tuned to that. Make sure you watch and leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and share. I think I got something here that says that right now. Where is it? And I'll see you next time. So peace out, everyone. Have a good one. Later.